Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we peek behind the curtain of big business and find out if these companies are really playing the long game or just running a shell game. Get ready because today we are diving into South Plains Financial Incorporated's latest report. This is a company that is reporting on its financial results. Think of this like a company's report card for a 3-month period showing us how well they did in handling their money and operations. It is designed to give investors and the public a clear picture of their performance. So, what is the big news from South Plains Financial Incorporated for the third quarter ending the 30th of September 2025? Well, they just put out their official announcement, and we're going to break down what it all means for them. This filing tells us that South Plains Financial Incorporated has common stock listed on the Nasdaq Stock Market LLC. This means regular folks like you and me can buy and sell shares of the company, making them publicly traded. The really juicy stuff is always in the results of operations and financial condition. This is where we see the numbers that tell the story of how the company is actually doing. The company put out a press release on the 23rd of October announcing their financial results for the third quarter of 2025. Now, these press releases are usually a good starting point, but they can sometimes be a little sugar-coated. We like to dig a bit deeper to see what these numbers truly represent. This section is about Regulation FD, which is basically a rule that says all investors should get the same important information at the same time. It prevents insiders from getting a head start on the news. On that same day, the 23rd of October, the company's top brass had a conference call to discuss these financial results. This is often where they provide more color and context, and sometimes where analysts can ask those tough questions. They also released a slide presentation to go along with it. Visual aids can be helpful, but again, we're going to focus on the underlying numbers and what they mean for the business. This part lists all the extra documents they've attached to this report. Think of it like the appendices in a book. Here it is, the press release itself. This is the public announcement of their performance. And here is that presentation they used. We will be looking at the actual numbers these documents reference to get the real story. This is the official signature block from the company, confirming that they are indeed submitting this report. And here we have Stephen B.C. Rocket, the Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer, signing off on the report. It is his job to make sure the numbers are accurate and that the company is being transparent. Now, let's talk about South Plains Financial Incorporated's core business. They are a financial institution. Essentially a bank holding company. This means they own a bank, and their main job is to lend money, take deposits, and provide various financial services to their customers, primarily individuals and businesses in their region. When we look at their earnings, we're essentially looking at how well they're managing their interest income, trying to make more on the loans they give out than they pay out on deposits, and how well they are handling operational costs and any potential losses from loans that don't get repaid. In a nutshell, for a bank, growth usually means making more loans and growing their deposit base. Profitability hinges on the difference between the interest they earn and the interest they pay, plus keeping their overhead low and minimizing bad debts. The stock market reacts to how well they are doing on these fronts, and also how they are positioned for the future in terms of economic growth and interest rate environments. Looking at the actual numbers from their earnings release, which we've unpacked from the exhibits, we see that for the third quarter of 2025, the company reported earnings per S-Hair, while the exact figure for earnings per S-Hair isn't in this particular filing. This is more of a summary of what was announced. Typically, this is a key metric investors watch, a strong earnings. Per S-Hair generally signals good profitability relative to the number of shares outstanding. What is also important is how this compares to previous quarters and the same quarter last year. For instance, if earnings per S-Hair grew by 10%, it suggests the company is becoming more profitable. If it dropped, it might mean they are facing headwinds, or their strategies aren't paying off as expected. We also want to pay close attention to net interest income, which is the core profit for a bank. A growing net interest income suggests they are successfully expanding their lending activities or managing their interest expenses effectively. Moreover, non-interest income, which includes fees from services, can provide diversification. A strong performance here shows they are not solely reliant on lending. However, it is not all about the top-line numbers. The quality of these earnings is crucial. We need to consider how efficiently the company is operating. This would be reflected in their efficiency ratio, which measures how much it costs to generate $1 of revenue. A lower efficiency ratio is generally better, indicating stronger operational control. Equally important is the provision for loan losses. This is an estimate of how much the bank anticipates it might lose from loans that could go bad. An increasing provision for loan losses, especially if it outpaces loan growth, can be a red flag, indicating potential stress in their loan portfolio. So what is the story here? South Plains Financial Inc. is releasing results that are, on the surface, standard for a publicly traded financial institution. They are reporting on their performance metrics, and it's crucial to see how these numbers stack up against their competitors and market expectations. The fact that they are holding a conference call and providing a slide presentation suggests they are providing a detailed look at their operational and financial condition. The key takeaway for investors and observers is to look beyond the headline announcement and scrutinize the underlying details in the full financial statements themselves when they become available. This filing serves as the official notification and accompanying documents from which a deeper analysis can be formed. Now, looking at these results more broadly, South Plains Financial Inc. appears to be operating within the established framework of a regional bank. Their financial reporting adheres to the standard requirements for public companies, providing investors with the necessary information. However, the full picture of their strengths and weaknesses would require a deeper dive into the actual financial statements, not just the summary announcement. For instance, a critical aspect to assess their direction would be examining their loan growth versus their deposit growth. Are they expanding their loan book responsibly? And do they have a stable base of deposits to fund it? Another area to watch keenly is their asset quality metrics, particularly their non-performing loans. If these are on the rise, it could indicate underlying issues with their lending practices or the economic environment they operate in. One notable opportunity for a company like South Plains Financial Inc. would be to leverage technology to improve customer experience and operational efficiency, potentially lowering their cost to serve clients. They might also seek to diversify their revenue streams beyond traditional lending, perhaps through wealth management services or specialized business lending. On the other hand, a significant risk for any bank, including South Plains, is the impact of interest rate fluctuations. Rapid increases in interest rates can affect the cost of their funding and the demand for loans, while decreases can squeeze their profit margins. Competition from larger banks and newer fintech companies also presents a constant challenge. In conclusion, at this stage, based on this Form 8K filing, South Plains Financial Inc. is fulfilling its disclosure obligations. The provided press release and presentation are their initial announcements of third quarter performance. To form a truly informed opinion requires a granular review of the detailed financial statements referenced in these exhibits. Without that, it is like judging a book by its cover. We see the title and the authors, but not the depth of the story within. Alright, that is our breakdown of South Plains Financial Incorporated's latest filing. What is your take on these initial announcements, and what do you think we should be looking for in their full financial statements? Let us know in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out, and subscribe for more deep dives into the corporate world. And don't forget to check out our Discord community, link down in the description for more discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next Decode.